All right, well, it's 3:30. This is our last session of the day. It's going to be just a little high overview of data standards. Coming from a district, this is a web page that I utilized pretty much every day in some aspects. I will say, and I hope I'm not the only one, but when I was in the district, I did have some of these printed out. I don't like to kill trees often, but some of the data standards are very vital. And so it's okay for me. I thought it was okay for me to print them out and highlight the data standards or portions of the data standards that were very, very important. So we'll get started real quick. I wish we could raise hands. That's what I always do in trainings and sessions, but I always say, raise your hand if you know where the data standards are. Do you know why we have data standards? So we'll get started. What are the KDE Data Standards? So these are portions of data that needs to be entered, and it needs to be entered in a standardized way. That way we can do our state reporting. You all can submit your reports, and we can use this data to ensure the consistency and the comparability are comparable across different platforms and databases. It's important to make sure that all of our data is entered in a consistent manner for our data warehouse. Kentucky is very lucky, or I think we're very lucky, that we all have the same student information system, and we're able to, transfer the data of students from district to district. And then, of course, we have, the state edition where we can pull reports to help you all in the district to make sure the information is incorrect. So why do you follow the data standards? It's just, to me, it's like it says right there, we need to do it. So if we need to do it, we should do it. But of course, it just ensures the data is consistently entered statewide. Specific data elements have to be collected. And if we follow the data standards, then everyone across the state will have the same information, which makes it much more easier and available for state and federal reports. And of course, for other data sharing. Where are they located? So, of course, if they're on the KDE website, I hope you have that bookmarked somewhere. But if you're on the KDE website, which is https://education.ky.gov/pages, default, you don't have to do the pages or default, but it's on that's the home page. If you click on District Support, Technology, Kentucky Student Information, or KSIS page, and then the KSIS Data Standards. So when you click on the page, and if somebody on my team will let me know when they can see my screen, I'd appreciate it. So as I was telling you, it's on our the KDE main website. And if you go to the district support page, you'll find our KSIS student information page, and then we have a page devoted to the data standards. As you're looking, you'll see that each data standard that we have has a bullet, and it has a link that will take you directly to a PDF document. Beside each of the data standards, you'll see the last time that it was updated. So we are in the process of getting these all updated. There are a few more that we need to do, and we will always, of course, put the date that they were updated. That way you have the latest information. I'm going to pop in just real quick on the behavior. This is one that I would print out, that I would use when I trained my staff in the district. It will always tell you the date that it has been revised. And then, of course, it'll tell you who helped prepare the data standard. That way you have quick links if you have questions. I know Blake talked to us earlier today about data entry, but if you were to have questions for him, his email is right here. It's hyperlinked. You can click on it and shoot him that quick message. All of the contents of each of our data standards are also hyperlinked. So if you're looking specifically wanting to know about behavior administration, which is what Kathy talked about earlier, you can actually click on that and it'll take you down into the document, and then you're able to read details about each of the data elements. So of course we know anything in campus that is red is a required field, but you can just see it gives you the path. It gives you so much information. So as you're working through, if you have questions concerning how do I enter something in, what is required, why is it being used, you can come to each of these data standards. One thing just to keep in mind, as you're working through asking yourself, where do I find this information? It will also give you other hyperlinks to other documents. So if you're wanting to know why we need to record all of our restraints and our seclusions, it gives you the KAR as to who decided we needed this information. You can click on that and get more information. Also, you will see there's other guidance documents linked within the same thing. So a lot of times we have documents upon documents upon documents. And if you're in the district trying to remember where you heard that information, come to the data standard, click on it, read through. You'll be able to find your other guidance documents, and you won't have to keep track of them in multiple folders and so forth. So great information, great tidbits. I just encourage you to take a moment and then bookmark this information. Once you have it bookmarked, then you can go back and forth from data standard to data standards. Share your data standards. If you have your attendance clerks meeting, walk them through, send them this link, give them the documentation. As a sysadmin, former sysadmin in a district, you wear so many hats, and a lot of people will come to you and want that information. Well, how did you know to do that? Why did you know to do that? More likely it's in the data standard. That way you can share your knowledge, your information, by giving them these links. So I'm going to go over one more time real quick. Where do I find the data standards? It's on the KDE webpage. It's under District School Support, Technology, Kentucky Student Information System, and then the KSIS Data Standards. So bookmark this page, walk through. Again, there are PDF documents. You can print them if you wish. Again, I will tell you, I did print some of these to keep beside me, and then I used them when I was training in my district as guidance documents. Just great information for you to use. All right. Let me check real quick the time. All right, so we still have we have 5 more minutes. So while we have this 5 minutes, Lisa kind of showed you, but we try to keep our pages up to date and with the highest quality of information that we can about our cases. So our other KSIS information page is where you find those checklists. Again, we have our data standards. Kim has her data visualization page linked for you right here. But then we have our KSIS training page. We will post our information about today's beginning of the year training here. To follow up, we'll have our question and answers document as well on this page. If you are looking for more information and you can't find it, you can always use your search feature, and then it will try to narrow down that information. But again, I highly recommend you go to this data standards page link. One thing that I did kind of skip over, and I apologize about that, but is we have another section of data standards that does have the other procedurals documents. You can find your no-show user guide right here, and just some other information is out here. So the virtual attendance base is a great document to always reference. All right,
Jen,
Lisa?
we have a question. Are we always notified if the data standards are updated? I would hate to use my paper copies and then find out later that the data standard online has been updated and I'm using an outdated info. Any advice?
We do not. We try to, of course, we update them once a year. But there is not usually a notification that goes out. That is something we could probably take back to our team and possibly think about a way of notifying if a data standard is up to date. Don't you think, Lisa?
Well, you will notice if you look on the web page, it shows the date. And your revision history within the document, if you did print it, will have the date of when it was last revised at the top and on the top of each page. So you can quickly compare that date to one. If they're updated, you can expect them all to be updated over the summer pretty much, but, or as by the beginning of the school year. Typically areas like Wendy's area is excellent at sending out a notification if they do one mid-year. You know, if they've made some changes because something has changed, or if we had, you can expect if you see on our release notifications that something has changed on a screen in campus that's Kentucky specific. That data standard will have been updated to reflect that change, most likely. And somebody put dates are next to each data standard. So, but then you got to look at the web page to see them. So we could put a list in our KSIS notification of data standards that were updated in the last month, you know, every time, so that are in the newsletter. And that's something we could do to help you keep up to date with them for changes.
And something else we might possibly be able to do, Lisa, just off the top of my head, is we could push a notification to all districts on their front page of campus. They're just their state notifications as well.
They fussed at us for making those very long before because they like to use them in the district, and then that's one of the things that's great about the new look of campus is those notifications are in another page. You got to go look at them, but at least it doesn't make your screen push down to where you have 1 inch of screen to use because there's so many tabs and so many notifications that you can't see anything.
Yep. All right. Do we have any more questions?
We do not.
All right.
And I think we're allowed to stop 1 minute early. So we do have one last slide that we're not going to bother to reload. That's just a reminder of the ELA credit. And you've seen it already today. And if you registered, you have a copy of the slide deck that was sent to you. But make sure when you get that email with the survey in it, if you want ELA credit, complete that survey. I tested it earlier and the last button on it says submit, and I thought I'd submitted it. It was a nice, pretty, colorful button. But then the next page comes up and says submit again. Make sure you hit submit twice or you didn't really do it, and then you'll have to do it again. So, and then those ELA credit certificates will come out within about 2 weeks of the time you've submitted your survey.
Yeah. And just a reminder, I know we've said it, this will be the 3rd time within the last 45 minutes, but if you have any topics, any suggestions, we are, we welcome that feedback as we begin to plan, of course, our mid-year training. I know it's crazy to think mid-year already, but that is next on our agenda. That's in the future. Of course, we wish you all the best of luck as you start your school year. And but again, let us know if there's more information you would like for us to put together to share out, and we'll work on it.
And Jen, that is a good point. Even if you don't need ELA credit, that survey gives you a chance to tell us what date do you have conflicts with the date we're planning mid-year? What topics would you like us to cover, and that kind of thing. So take the survey even if you don't need the credit, but you have to register to get the survey link. So if you haven't registered, go out to the training page, click that registration link real quick, and then you'll get a notification to take the survey. And thank you guys, and have a great rest of your summer. Not much left, but
good luck to everybody. And I want to thank everybody that presented today. We couldn't do it without all of our great knowledgeable program areas. So thank you all for that.